Okay, hello and welcome to another Affinity photo tutorial. My name is Alex Taradaciuk, and in this tutorial we are going to create an old photo. Well, you know that a couple of weeks ago I showed you how to restore a photo, but what if we want to include that vintage look into a new photo? Let's see how we can do that using Affinity and a few stock photos from Pexels. So let's go and look for a photo here on stock. If you don't see this tab, you can go to View, Studio, and Stock, and it will appear here. You can change from Pexels to Pixabay. So, old car. Let's see what we find. File, new. Let's create it for web. And find a nice resolution, 920 by 1200. Create. And let's introduce that image in. Alright, so it's a pretty good image, good quality. Let's zoom out and resize the image. Something like this. Okay, zoom back in and move it around. Okay, this will help us because it's already a vintage car, but we are going to recreate the vintage look. So first of all, I'm going to create this image into a black and white one. First of all, I'm going to right click and rasterize the image, so I'll have a pixel layer. Then I'm going to introduce a black and white level adjustment, and think we had some green here, so we can play with the intensity of the green. Cyan for the water and the sky, blue the same. We want this car to be in front, red, something like this. Then we are going to mate all the colors, I think. Okay, this looks good. Close this one. So from adjustments here, levels, and I'll want curves. So we see the curves here, and I'm going to add as a gray intensity master. So I'm going to take the blacks, and you can see it's going to create like a silver color to the image. So I want to do that, a washy color, and this is the light area. I'm going to do the same. Now this is a lot of trial and error, so I can play around with these settings, but usually, okay, something like this should be enough from our point of view. Now let's see what else we can do to this image. I'd like to add some scratches to the image, and after that some grain to it. First of all, let's duplicate this layer, so we can use Command J, or you can right click and duplicate, but I use the hotkey. Right, so we introduced these curves layers and a black and white adjustment layer to this. Let's constrain it and make only for this layer. So the way you do that is you grab your layer and you drag it until you'll reach here. You can see that it's starting to be like a sub item for your current layer. So click on that one as well. It's cool. And let's add a new pixel layer. This is going to be underneath, and let's fill it with a color. Go to edit, fill. Let's add it as red for the moment, and for this particular layer click on the original image layer and let's add a mask. The reason I added the mask is that I want to hide some of the image, so it's going to look like it's going to be broken or scratched. So let's try. I'm going to use some textures, brushes. it's available with Affinity, so everything that I'm using you should have as well. So let's try, let's see what we have. Yeah, this one. Let's see how this is going to look. I'm going to drag. It's like the image is cracked, you know, something like this. And when it's red, basically it's going to show through. Okay, something like this. You don't want to over exaggerate. Or you can do like a cracked area here. This looks nice. Okay, I'm happy with this. And let's see what other textures we have here and just experiment. Right now I'm doing this. Okay, something like this here as well. So if I'm going to hide this, you'll see that the image starts to come together. Usually the old photos are damaged at the edges. So let's try to do, and also the corners here. Try to damage the corners as well. And I think this image will look very, very nice if we're going to introduce like a sepia tone to it. Okay. Let's see what thing. This could be enough. Let's see. Okay. Looks good. Zoom in a little. Okay. And to be honest, I think if we are going to choose this one again and make it bigger using the bracket keys, see that how big that is, and bring back the red layer and just crack it. There you go. Looks super awesome. So what I'm going to do right now is fill that pixel layer that is under the mask with a yellowish tone, something like this. Actually, it's going to be reversed because this is going to be white. Again, apply. And for this particular image, we are going to introduce like a sepia tone to it. So if we go to levels, recolor, and go to like a saturation, go over something like this, and we want to mate the colors. We recolored the image using the adjustment layer, so we are going to put that in here. Now with the mask selected here, as you can see, let's try to distort a little bit the edges here. So I've come to basic brushes, but actually let's try media and try something like a very hard texture brush. So double click on it. Okay, profile seems good. Hardness, let's see, opacity, flow, hardness. I want to uncheck the wet edges and just try to make something like this and make the image look like this, smaller. Just try to scratch it. You can see here, it's like, you know, some colors stick to something. Uncheck the wedges. Okay, flow, let's put flow to 100. Right, and let's make this bigger. And just try to make that spots, something like this. And of course it's up to you how much you want to destroy the image. Okay. Cool. Now this is going to look even cooler when I'm going to change the color to edit, fill. Okay, like a gray. Perfect. Click apply. And think I've exaggerated it, so let's hit X and color back some of the details here. Of course, you can go over the cracks as well if you consider that that's too much. You can do something like this. Cool. And that will give like a even cooler look. Here I think the same, so keep that. That is good, this is off. That should be okay. Let's zoom out and play with the colors. Okay, the curve adjustment, let's change the opacity. Something like this. Recolor, let's see if we can change the color to more saturation. Something like this. If you want, you can make like a washy color here, something like this, but let's keep some of the details in. Okay, something like this. Click on the mask. Let's see what we have. Another brush here. And this is white. Let's go easy here, something like take the color off and the details. So this brush is chalkboard tool, and as you can see, it removes some of the details. Now if we look here, we have opacity 100%, flow 24, hardness 100, and no wet edges. Okay, something like this. Here you can go even more, just trying to get rid of some details. Okay, I think it's too much here, so X, let's reverse the colors and draw back a little. Okay, something like this. Let's see what else we can do here. You know what, really I'd like to use this one. Let's see if we find some stamps. Stamp. Let's see what images we have. Don't like any of those. Okay, what is this? All right, cool. Let's take a stamp and we can do something like, so let's select it from here, move it a little bit, and holding Alt you can dial down the selection. So first of all, we need to rasterize it. So rasterize this image, Alt J, so it will recognize the pixels, and now we should have that stamp on a separate layer. Let's Alt D to deselect. Now we have only this one. Okay, let's remove the black bit. So let's see if we find with lighten. Yeah, it's going to work, but not that much. So we need to select it from here, refine the edges. Actually, foreground is this. Okay, and let's try to reduce some of it, working here. Okay, so what I want is mask, apply, there we go. And let's mask it, try to apply it here. or here. Here I think it's better. Good. And what else we can do? We can FX, make it a little more volumetric. We put like a 3D ish, soften, diffuse, ambient. Okay, and direction. Okay, close. Cool. This looks super nice. Like it's from here. Now, why would you put a stamp on that image? I don't know, but it looks good. So that's about it. I hope that you like this tutorial, and if you followed along, please share your work with the rest of us. Drop a message below if you have more questions, and I will answer them as soon as possible. If you are new to this channel, please consider subscribing. I post tutorials like this every week. And don't forget to hit the bell to get notified. Until next time, take care and keep learning new stuff.